Hello, everybody. Super Earth citizens. How's everyone doing today? Welcome back to another episode of the Helldivers Experience podcast with two extra experienced Helldivers, me and Mr. Pips. But we got a third one on today, Claysthetics. Welcome, everybody.
Sir.
How you guys doing today?
Sir, good morning.
Clay,
Good morning,
where's the
good morning.
sunglasses? I forgot to ask you.
Okay,
All right, while he gets the
what kind do you
sunglasses, today we're going to be doing a very special episode on why you suck at Helldivers 2. We're going to be addressing some of the skill issues within the community. Now, don't worry. Honestly, we just think it's a loud minority having these skill issues. But I figured it would be a fun thing to talk about because a lot of people complain about specific things within the game, but I don't think it's many of those things at all. It's a lot of really specific mechanics and bugs that end up being really annoying. And Clay also posted a giant balance feedback form that the CEO responded to. How did that feel, Clay?
That was like one of the coolest moments for me on this game so far, because I genuinely felt for like all of the patch where they nerfed the eruptor that the game was just going to flat out die. And it kind of gave me like quite a bit of hope that at least that they're looking at the majority of people's feedback. And like not just my feedback, but like you see the CEO responding to a whole bunch of people that are just like randomly saying things on Twitter. And he's like, I know why you feel that way. We're sorry, we'll do better. And like constantly they're just saying they'll do better. And I think that this update was just way better than anything else they've done before, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah? All right. Well, we're going to talk about all that stuff. Right before we get into the podcast, though, we always got to do a sponsor placement. Today, I'm doing a sponsor from a small website, helldivers2shop.com. Let me give you guys my link, though. They sell breaker keychains. Now, a lot of you already saw this and bought this from...
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're going to be adding more guns in the future. It's just a really small business. They reached out to me. Oh, and they actually sent me one. So I can actually give you guys a real review. It's actually really durable. It's a pretty high quality keychain, and it's really cool. So I'll post my link in the chat. Yeah.
When
and
are
it's
they going to have
Helldivers related.
flamethrowers?
They're adding more stuff ASAP.
Okay.
They're adding more stuff as soon as they can.
And I know 4 people that'll buy one right away.
Yeah, but is it only those 4 people who are going to buy it? Is it really worth it? Anyways, all right. So where shall we start today? All right. So you mentioned this patch was a really good update to the game and in a really good spot. What are some of the things you think they added in the recent patch now that it's been out for, a couple weeks? We talked about the patch during last episode, so like we don't need to go over everything or specifics. I have some ideas what I want to say. You got anything for us, Clay?
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I do. So when I think about this patch specifically, if you look at all of the updates that they've done to the game, every single update was objectively terrible, right? They nerfed a bunch of stuff. They made a bunch of March 9th, first update. They like everything just kept getting nerfed over and over again based on popularity alone. And then the PlayStation 5 damage
it felt like popularity.
The thrower nerfed and the railgun nerfed. And then like if you just keep looking at the track, it's just terrible. And then you look at this patch and everything got buffed. The popular stuff got buffed. And I think most importantly, we had our first enemy modifier. That way we can like counter the enemies basically. You know what I mean? Like you could pick the perfect build if you feel like it and like choose your difficulty slider instead of guessing what enemies are on the planet. I think that's like the most important part of the game is like mutation modifiers. And so going forward, as we get like more and more of those, just the better the game's going to be.
Yeah.
So you said, I don't want to interrupt, but some people in chat are saying that Clay's sound is low. Yeah, okay. My bad.
Talk louder, Clay. You're on 200.
All right.
I don't know. I hear you fine. All right. So I think in the recent patch, I also think a lot of the enemy changes were really good. Obviously, they buffed a bunch of guns and stratagems, which is always great. But that's the first point of our skill issue, because on day 1 of the patch, I saw many people on Reddit. I saw YouTube videos of people saying charger behemoths broke the bug meta. It's horrible now.
Yeah.
So I literally posted a tips and tricks video like day 1 like 8 different ways to kill charger behemoths, and I even said like this is just a day 1 video. And then we found out more ways to kill charger behemoths. We found out how to kill them with anti-tanks. Me and Erevan and Zeddy, the dude who does the weapon stat sheet and keeps track of all those stats, we figured out how to kill them even more. But I think that's a good example of people complaining about like one thing, which is amount of spawns, when in reality, there's kind of a game-breaking bug with that where you have to be moving forward with a rocket launcher and to be able to shoot the charger behemoth's arm off. So that's like kind of the main theme, I feel, of this podcast, where people are complaining about one thing, but in reality, it's a whole nother thing that kind of makes stuff difficult.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, if you really think about it, like bugs didn't definitely get harder to play against, in my opinion.
I think
I don't know. Like I see
fun.
no difference. Yeah, it's definitely more hectic. But like just because behemoths are there, like depending on your loadout, obviously some things are gonna make it easier and some things are gonna be harder. But overall, after testing all of these things on solo Helldive, right? Like it feels the same. Like there's not a huge difference. Now I can understand like when if players are playing and they don't have a lot of time in the game and whatever, they're not used to. Like even now, for example, right, Filet? When I post a video of my gameplay, so many comments are like, how do you kill the charger so fast? So you gotta understand that there's probably a lot of people still don't know
that
you gotta go for the charger's legs, for example, the flamethrower. And it's probably those kind of people that find it very hard to, play against this, I would say. But overall, yeah, I agree. I don't think that on the bug side it's a huge difference.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think that there's like more weapons to play with against the bugs than ever, basically.
Yeah, that's
like you
true.
can pretty much take anything in. And when you think about like the charger having the same like bugs where it like slides by you and its rear leg armor gets removed. I think that one thing that Thick did was like when he posted the Stalwart video and showed how good the like Scorcher was against the chargers. Like that's never changed. That's always been the same.
Yeah,
so it's just weird for people to say that chargers were so difficult. And it's just like it's the exact same charger, just with like more frontal armor.
It has like 100 more HP on the butt, but I'm pretty sure it's the same amount of shots from a Scorcher anyway, or maybe one more shot. That was my main thing. I was like, has everybody forgotten that you could just shoot a charger's butt? Like, how many people are still here from patch 1 before they nerfed charger heads? Like you did not used to be able to one-shot chargers in the head with an anti-tank. And that's just how it's always been.
Yeah, patch 1, right?
Another thing too, even though the W key on the front leg, you could always shoot the back leg armor off with an anti-tank as well. The charger's back legs are weaker than the front legs.
Yeah, at the same time though. Oh, go ahead, Clay.
Yeah, sorry. One of the first videos I ever saw was like somebody bouncing an autocannon under the charger to kill it from the bottom. And I was just like, wow, that's such a cool way to kill a charger. And then like you just kept doing that. And like, I don't know, chargers have always been one of the easiest enemies to deal with. But like then when they get surrounded by small light enemies, I think that's probably one of the main reasons for people were struggling more with the behemoths this patch than anything.
Or if there's a bunch of them.
But yeah, sorry for interrupting, Mr. Pips.
No, it's all good, man. But yeah, I mean, I can also kind of understand that people, let's say you're not as a sweaty of a player as we are, you know what I mean? You're just finishing your job, you're getting off for an hour, you fly in, you're playing with your friends, and you have like 15 behemoths running at you. I also get that point where they're like, we just want to chill. But at the same time, my argument for that always will be, there's no real reason for you to play Helldive difficulty, right? Just go play 6 or 7. Like, what's the reward? This is not a game where they even reward you with any kind of skins or ornaments or whatever. Like, there's no difference. And even myself, when I'm trying to farm materials, I go for 6 or 7 and I speed farm like crazy, both for medals or anything I want. I don't play on Helldive if I want to go for those, you know?
Pips, how many super samples did they put on 6? 3?
Oh,
or is it 2?
Is it 2?
It's either 2 or 3.
2. Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
I will say they didn't put 1 there though.
Are not a problem though.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. I feel like super sample.
And then I think 6 is like the most fun version of the game. Like we were talking about, like if you were to pick a difficulty slider, 6 has like a balance of everything that you would want.
Yeah. But it's also, doesn't this game feel like very inconsistent? Like sometimes when I'm testing stuff, like me and
On
Phil were
level
talking
4,
about this.
yeah.
You're still up level 4,
when
bro.
you go to kill a
and
Bile
it
Titan
goes
mission,
nuts.
just out of
It's
nowhere,
nuts.
like every like
nowhere.
every like 5 times you reload the game, it just goes crazy.
It is crazy, bro. Like, and I don't understand what that is. Like, I don't know. Like, it's 4, and sometimes I swear sometimes I double check it. I was like, did I like mess something up? Because this doesn't make sense. And yeah, I'm on level 4, but like everything's just going crazy.
There was a high conspiracy that like as you progress the missions, like if you do the first 2 and then you were going to go into the third one, that the third one's going to have more enemies. But every single time we tested it, we never got more enemies. So
I don't know where these kind of conspiracies come from.
I don't know, dude.
But yeah, so that's number 1. Worst with the 20 says, what's the reward?
20.
Says, what's the reward for doing level 9? Only your self-worth. True.
Yeah,
that's the
true.
only reason to go up to level 9 is if you essentially
Yep.
want to be a tryhard and just, you
I
know,
think it should be harder.
depending on the patch.
I think it should be harder. Like, I know this is not going to be a popular opinion, right? You have people complaining about Elden Ring being too hard, right? Like out of nowhere.
that's crazy. It's
So
Dark
like-
Souls game.
Yeah, exactly. And you still have people complaining about it. And then you play Helldive, and then it's like, that's easy. If we're being honest, Helldive difficulty is easy for the highest difficulty. And that's the reality.
Here.
Yeah.
Hold on. Before we talk about that, because we mentioned Clay posted a community doc, and he actually talks about adding a new difficulty in here. But Clay posted a community doc, which we can go over a lot of the issues. So, because they're in his document, but the CEO responded to this and he said, wow, was this comprehensive or what? A lot for us to digest, forwarding to the right people. And I asked Clay how he felt about this.
That is awesome.
It's really cool, right?
Yeah, it's awesome, bro. Hard work pays off, Clay. That's good.
Listen,
That's
Clay,
good.
I felt the same way with my clickbait YouTube thumbnail saying the devs must be stopped. And Pilestet gave showed that in front of all the devs. Although that was a bit funnier. So,
oh, I think Clay is saying Discord lagging a little bit, something.
Oh, he might be lagging. Okay, that sucks.
5,000 ms.
Can you
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
I think he's good now.
Oh yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I'm back. We good.
Okay. You didn't miss
Welcome back.
much. All I said was, how did it feel? The CEO responded to you, but you answered that earlier anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it was hype. It was a good day. I was on the moon.
for sure. Yep.
Yeah, that was super cool. One other thing I would like to talk about, which I think right here, with the 1.0.4 change, there has been complaints about the new spawn. So that's the second skill issue we're going to talk about. Number 1 was the Charger Behemoths, bro. Like, anybody complaining about Charger Behemoths on day 1, I feel like that's my issue, is that people are complaining about them on day 1. Like, how about you take a little bit of time to try to figure out how to kill the new enemy, right? Right? Isn't that fair? Take a little, like, it's not a Charger anymore. It's a Charger Behemoth. And it still dies to the same ways that a regular Charger dies to.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, I guess that's true. For me, it's always going to be the argument of, for me, Helldive difficulty doesn't feel hard enough. So whatever, people can say it's hard, but in reality, you don't even have to be the greatest player to get that shit done pretty much.
Yeah. So another thing that was getting complained about on day 1 of the patch was the spawn changes and the patrols. And Clay even addresses that right here in his document. He says, we have found after testing that the new spawns are not the problem, but the broken mechanics of some enemies that are causing the real frustration. Anyone who wants the spawn nerfed at this stage doesn't understand why they're struggling. And this is kind of what we want to talk about, because I feel that a lot of people will say,
so hard.
Yeah, I feel that a lot of people are going to say
really
it's
do.
the patrols, it's like too many chargers or too many gunships, when I feel like those aren't exactly the problem. Now, he mentioned the W key for 1 damage, which is great. But Clay, you want to go over some of this? This is your document.
Yeah, I think that the main thing that I want to talk about, like over anything else, for like why I don't think people understand why they're struggling. It's like when you think about when you drop into Helldive specifically and why we would think it's easy. It's like, well, usually we bring some semblance of like a balanced build or something like that, where it's just like, well, if you're struggling with hunters, then you bring something to blast all the hunters, right? If you're struggling with chargers, you
Yeah.
bring something to blast all the chargers, right? It's not really like something you think about, but I think a lot of people are just stuck in like they just want to bring one specific thing, and that like doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
You have to bring something that complements something else, at least in a sense of like your support weapon and your primary, because
Yeah.
if you do, then
They
the
should
difficulty
complement
becomes
each
like the
other.
difficulty slider is super easy. Yeah. And if you don't do that, like if you bring like a auto cannon and like the Scorcher, then you're kind of, and again, it's just like I think most of us bring stun grenades. I remember this was on one of your streams. You were talking
I've
about
been
the
rocking
pummeler.
without stuns a lot.
Yeah, but like a lot of
can get
people
into
were like,
that.
"Oh,
We
we
can
don't
get
need
into that.
stuns," and then you asked how many people bring
Yeah,
stuns. and,
yeah.
again,
No,
you could
that
just
was
pause
great.
the game.
That was
and
great
make it
because
as easy as possible.
yeah, that was great because the other day I was ranting how they nerfed the pummeler. The pummeler still mostly works fine, although I think there's an inconsistency on one of the enemies, but that's not what we're going to talk about. So the pummeler last patch, it would stun all medium, like basically it just wouldn't stun heavies instantly, but anything below a Hulk or below a charger, it would stun them in one bullet, which was great because that's insane utility, bro. I'm sorry. And again, Pips always says, why would I stun something when I can kill it? And when I was ranting about that on stream the other night, a bunch of people in chat were saying the same thing. And then you know what I responded? I said, why aren't you guys bringing impacts over stuns?
Yeah.
So
the
like,
whole chat was like,
But that's not the same though. If you bring stun grenades, you should use stuns for chargers mostly. Not like I don't think people mostly
you got to
use it
stun
for,
a
like,
charger to kill it, Pips? Really?
That's the ultimate big PP move, bro.
No, that's true. That's true. It does feel good. No, I'm messing around with you, but
I know.
no, but yeah, the pummeler, if you see a patrol, you could literally spray back and forth on that patrol. Don't even kill them, stun them, and set up an airstrike. It's the same
why
as a stun
nerf the
grenade.
pummeler though?
No, that's my point.
These are the things I don't get it, man.
Yeah.
Like it was great. It was fun. A lot of people were using it. As you said, it had great utility, but there is still have you talked to anyone that said, "Oh my God, let's nerf pummeler"?
I think
literally.
I think they just saw that it was weird that it was stunning things in one bullet, and they just didn't like that. But I feel like that's not a real reason to nerf it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess.
I feel like I want to talk about this more a bit later, but I do feel because we actually have some other stuff to go over with some of the stuns. Clay, would you like to go over some major offenders that make the game feel bad? Because if we're saying it's not the amount of chargers, it's not the amount of gunships, what are the real offenders that's making the game feel bad? Before you do that, though, Worse, thank you for the 5. Dagger, thank you for the channel membership. Worse says, a difficult win is satisfying, but a BS loss due to a shit mechanic is infuriating. Balance got to be difficult. All right, Clay, go over some of the BS losses due to a shite mechanic. Perfect dono time.
Yep.
So a lot of people watch me like I usually pop a solo no death, like usually at the start of a stream or something, and like there's a lot of times where I just get randomly one-shotted by a laser to a critical headshot. And I think that that's probably the worst possible feeling in the game is when you just randomly get one-shotted by just something completely random, right? Through a wall, nonetheless, like when we talk about bots, again, I don't think the bots are the problem. I think it's more like just getting shot through walls just feels terrible. And then you die in one hit on top of that.
Yep.
It doesn't happen all the time, though.
So bad.
What
it doesn't. The wall thing you
thing?
can prevent by spacing.
Ragdoll,
I think one of the big ones, getting spam ragdoll to death does feel really bad. But I think another one is like when enemies, like they're barely on top of you and you can't stand up.
Oh yeah, that's.
Oh my God.
Did they? By the way, I saw.
Feels like bullshit.
Hold on. In the I forget if it was the most recent hotfix, not the big patch. They said they fixed some issues with prone and crouch. Did they fix that, or have you not?
No,
they didn't.
No,
okay.
they have not.
All right, go ahead.
There's like a little tiny like hunter leg stepping on your toe, and you can't stand up. And then I sent you a clip later that everybody will see.
Yeah,
where,
we'll get to the tip of the day.
That's a little bit of a problem. Even a small body, you're stuck on the floor. That feels really bad. And then just in general, there's also like some weird like T-posing issues when you're like in the water. I'm pretty sure you guys have experienced that.
Oh, diving
just, like,
through the ground.
Upwards. Yeah, and then
or in the water.
Yeah.
That's horrible, dude.
No. Actually, I'm just gonna say they should not fix when you dive into the ground and splash up out of the water. It actually helps you. You stand up faster. Are you
depends
talking
on
about in the
situation,
water?
'cause no, just in general, like sometimes that T-pose gets you killed because you like stand up and you completely lose control of your character. It's good in the sense of standing up faster, but it's bad in like
All right, fair
if
enough.
there's
Fair
an
enough.
explosion going off, you're cooked. You
All
know
right,
what I mean?
maybe they should fix it because it is a bug.
It's a
Yeah.
little bit of a problem, bro.
Like, I feel like there could be a few things when it comes to ragdolling. I would say that if you're getting hit by damage, like let's say a rocket, like I would be down for them to increase kind of the splash radius of rocket devastators. So if it hits the ground near you, it'll ragdoll you. But then in that case, remove it. So if you don't take damage from a rocket, you don't get ragdolled. I hate when I'm playing close to cover and they just shoot the wall in front of me and I get ragdolled. That's really annoying, although I have kind of adapted and I kind of play like 2 feet back from the cover now. Or 2
I could
meters or
get like
whatever.
a tank knocking you down behind like a wall.
Yeah,
you know what I
tank
mean?
is
Like, just
cool.
staggering you, but not a normal rocket devastator. Yeah, they definitely. I think they just maybe need to lower the splash on the rockets. That way, they're more of like a direct hit thing. I don't know.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, but that's what I mean though. There's a lot of times when you simply won't take damage against bots, but they still ragdoll you.
Yeah.
Ragdolling is it's one of those things. Like if it's in the game in general, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think in order to just make the game feel overall better, they can do a few things by doing one thing, and that's going to be changing up the armor and giving us the ability to counter ragdolling with heavier armor or something. Like some armor pieces need to be more valuable, and then if you want to tone down ragdolling a little bit, sure, go for that. But also having any kind of mechanic that is so damaging to the player and yet not giving us the ability to counter it, to me, will never be something that is normal. Like I would rather have something that I can build into and then go
Get
into it, and
ragdolled
then
less
maybe
and get
it
staggered
becomes
less.
slower. Yeah, if I get slower, right? For example, stamina is super low or slow or whatever, but at least let me counter the mechanics, you know?
So there could be another thing with armor that we mentioned, and that is headshot damage. So I have
Oh god.
2 major well, actually, let's say 3 major problems with headshot damage. Number 1, I think headshots should just be removed from the game. Me personally.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
So I watched
Get it out, man.
I watched this YouTube video recently. I forget who it was by, but he was talking about why the bots feel horrible and why the game's not really difficult. And he believes that there is critical damage that is separate from headshot damage. So he believes that there's 2 different ways that the enemies can crit you or headshot you, but I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure the enemy decides if it's going to headshot you before it shoots you, and then it doesn't even need to hit your head.
Lock, yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
you could actually see that
predetermined
the last
headshots.
patch.
Yeah.
With the hunters, you saw it last patch. So like they fixed it this patch where you can kind of sidestep the hunter leap, but the last patch the hunter would lock onto you and automatically headshot you, even if you dove away from it to forcetate your legs. It would still automatically headshot.
Yeah, it
you.
would
It's
auto headshot
predetermined
you.
Headshot. And when I say critical headshot, just to clarify, I would mean like just getting one-shotted by a headshot
Yeah.
would be like critical because it's just insta kill, right? But they kind of fixed that this patch for the hunters specifically jumping on you. But yeah.
So number 1, I think headshots should just be removed from the game because it's wild.
Yeah.
If they're in the game, so they changed it multiple patches ago. A lot of the problems with the enemy mechanics were honestly stealth changes from like patch 1, patch 2, patch 3 that people just didn't even know are in the game. That's why we're talking about this right now, because people complain about patrols or this or that, but there's all these issues that were like stealth changes. So when they lowered headshot damage if you were wearing heavier armor, number 1, they give 0 headshot reduction to medium armor. So you have to have over a 100 armor value, does not include 100. So if you're wearing 100 armor value, which is medium armor, you take the same headshot damage as light armor, which is just wild to me. Why do you get no benefit to your health?
And Filet, I'm gonna ask you, what was even the percentage of the heavy armor? It was like minuscule, right? I don't even remember at this point. What was it?
It's better. I'm pretty sure if you're wearing heavy padded armor, you actually can't get one shot by rockets. I could be wrong. There's probably still some stuff like
but
cannon turrets that'll one shot you. But right
don't
now,
you feel like that's not enough?
Well, I think headshots should be removed from the game, Pips.
Yeah, but like if they're leaving it in though, if they're leaving it in.
Well, yeah, no,
I don't think
that's
they
my
will,
point.
to be honest, because they said they want the game to be more consistent, and headshots make the game inconsistent.
Yeah,
so I think
headshots
that's like
are
the
wildly
biggest.
inconsistent.
That's the best possible way to say that they just need to remove it. Is just creates inconsistent, frustrating
like in
gameplay.
in
it's very
PvP,
RNG.
in a PvP game like Valorant, if I shoot my enemy in the head, they should die. If they shoot me in the head, I should die. But when I'm playing against a computer, and he predetermines whether or not he's going to headshot me, that just feels stupid.
And there's 40
I
dudes
agree.
that shoot at you at
Yeah.
the same time that predetermine their headshots. Then you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess I'm super dead.
Yep.
So
Weird.
another thing I think is really worth bringing up is what's the in-game tip called? AIM protocol, where if you shoot at automatons, they get less accurate.
We couldn't find it anywhere, so it might be Mandela effect. But I know I've seen the tip.
No, that's real.
In game.
Put a 1 in chat
Yeah,
if you've
well-
seen the tip in game. When you shoot at robots, they become less accurate.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
I don't want to
know,
chat.
I guess.
Yeah, I have a video of me lighting a bot on fire too, and it just shoots around me in a circle. It doesn't even hit me. So it's like it used to work, and then it hasn't
doesn't
since,
work
like, that
anymore.
March 9th update. It
So
does
I don't
not
know.
work anymore.
Maybe this is a bug, but this does not work anymore. That's an issue. This simply doesn't work, and this is a mechanic that is apparently supposed to be in the game. I remember this. It's not Mandela effect. Look
so
at all
they
the
can
ones in
flinch
chat.
us. Oh, we can't flinch them, huh?
Yeah, that's the issue. And
Yeah.
that's another thing we could talk about. They can flinch us, but we can't flinch them. I feel like there are many such cases with the weapon nerfs that we've seen a lot of different nerfs to stagger. So in the most recent patch, it was the pummeler. The pummeler is still fine against bugs. There's some inconsistencies with some enemies that I think will probably get tuned up if it's brought to their attention. But it basically takes 3 bullets rather than 1 to stun something, right? So it's not that bad. It's still fine. But we have seen a nerf to the slugger, stunning devastators. We have seen a nerf to the arc thrower, stunning hulks. And let me just ask both of you a question right now. Maybe not Pips, you don't play a lot of bots. If arc thrower could forever stagger hulks, like you stagger them, they can't shoot at you, would it even be a good weapon to bring against bots?
Overall, no, in my opinion, too.
So I missed the last part of what you said.
If you could infinite stagger a Hulk with an arc thrower, would that make it a good weapon to bring against bots? A good support weapon? I think Clay's lagging. Hold on.
Yeah. I think he is a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry, my ping keeps spiking to 5,000.
We can.
No,
I
no
can hear
worries,
you,
no worries.
Clay.
Being eaten. You can hear
We're
me
good
just
now.
fine. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
good. Sorry. What's the end of what you said? This webcam
If
thing is eating
arc-
up like all my upload.
If
arc
arc
thrower
thrower
what?
can infinite stagger Hulks, will it be a good bot weapon?
Yeah, I think it would be. I mean, like it could, right? Before, so yeah, it would be fine. I don't even see a problem with that specifically because it's such a like niche situation. I think that they tried
Exactly.
to nerf it from stagger locking the chargers, and then in process removed it from stunning the hulks.
So
I thought that it was okay that it's stunned the hulks.
So
I never
it
really-
wasn't. It was never stagger locking
problem with that.
chargers. It would just kind of flinch them, and they would be easier to
It was
dodge.
slow them.
But they
And it was
like, it'd
slow
be,
them.
like, more of a
they
niche thing.
specifically raised the stagger
He's kinda
streams.
stuck.
No, Clay's lagging.
Yeah. I'm just
Oh,
like-
okay.
I should be good.
Think, yeah, we're good.
All right, I think Clay's gonna turn off his webcam on the program. Clay, if you want to pull up your webcam in Discord, can you hear us, Clay? Oh no, he's lagging.
His internet went poop.
All right. Well, we'll just continue this conversation until he gets back.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
if Arc Thrower could infinite stagger Hulks, it would just be utility at that point. Like Arc Thrower doesn't do a lot of damage. Let's be real here. To bigger enemies, at least.
Exactly, and not just the damage to, as you said, like Hulk itself, but overall, right? There's gunships, and then there's other enemies,
Yeah.
and like overall, I don't think Arc Thrower is meant to be, unless they like buff it and make it crazy, right? It's not going to be that crazy weapon when you're playing against the bots. It's pretty obvious to me personally that it's meant to be played against the bugs, right? But then again, like as you said, some of the nerfs coming in that we didn't even see or wasn't mentioned. My question is, they got to be sitting by the table, right? And then one guy raises his hand and he goes, "We need to nerf Arc Thrower because it's," but like nobody really thinks that way. Like whoever, you know what I mean? Like if you play the game, do you know a lot of people that use Arc Thrower as their main weapon against bots? I don't think that was an issue either. Like same way the pummeler wasn't.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. But I just feel like they've been nerfing a lot of weapons that can stagger enemies when there's a ton of people in the community who like you, Pips. You say, why would I bring the pummeler when I could just kill the enemy? And I feel like stun grenades are so good that if you add a lot of weapons that can actually stagger enemies well, like the pummeler or the arc thrower, then that just adds build diversity where you wouldn't have to bring stun grenades and you can actually make different builds with it. Like, can you hear us?
Do you think they'll nerf the stuns?
No, I don't think so. Stun grenades are... They
I
already
think
nerfed
they already
them.
nerfed the stuns.
Yeah, they nerfed them against Bile Titans.
Yeah, but like, I mean, do you think they'll nerf like the time or something like that on it, like the duration of the stun? Something
That would surprise me. I mean, we put anything.
Well, the
past
chargers
them
and
to
hulks
nerf
are already
anything,
spinning around
maybe.
in circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we good now? Is it still buffering?
The stream really shouldn't be buffering.
Yeah, my
Yeah, a lot
bad.
of
I don't know
people-
why I'm lagging so bad.
Are you good on
Oh,
Discord?
you're good. It happens.
Yeah, I
Added
think
your
I'm good
cam
on
back.
Discord.
All right, I added your cam back.
All the
Good.
Canadians are lagged out, dude. It feels bad. It's tough up here, bro.
All
Good
right.
for me now, it looks better. Okay, chat.
Hang on, I gotta have my.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. If you're watching
Stop downloading
this,
the Eagle One fanfics. I'll do my best.
if you're watching this when we're
Send me
not
your-
live anymore, just fast forward a little bit.
Yep. Skip the torture.
Anyways, so I feel like Clay wants to talk about how they nerfed some of the stagger weapons, like Slugger, Arc Thrower, what else? Railgun. They took Railgun stagger away from Titans.
Oh. Okay, so I think that stagger keeps getting removed from the game, and I think that it actually has something to do with like a weird thing that we picked up over time, which was when we started testing with the scythe and the laser cannon, it was missing ticks on higher ping, and I think that the higher ping you have, connection to the host wise, you actually miss stagger, or like the enemies don't register it correctly. And I think another problem with Helldive difficulty specifically is that as more and more enemies spawn, it eats more and more of the host resources. And as Game Guard kicks up, it causes more problems that probably shouldn't even be part of the game in the first place. So, like, I liked when the railgun could stagger a Bile Titan. I just didn't think that it should stagger it on safe mode. You know what I mean? And hit a certain threshold or whatever. Same thing with the arc thrower. I don't think the stagger should have been removed. We were using it the other night. It was like kind of weird. But I think that the big offenders were like the pummeler getting the weird stagger nerf felt bad. But more than anything, and I know this is like the fan favorite weapon, was the slugger. It didn't make sense for the slugger to have its stagger removed at all, or its ability to break doors or fences. That was like its thing, you know? And again, I never thought that the slugger was like above B tier. I just thought that it was like a fine, okay, like just a mid weapon. Like stagger locking one enemy never really helped you in like a overpowered way, but it was like it was just a fine middle ground, like, okay, like you're just going to lock down that one enemy. And I think that it was really good versus stalkers specifically, like when the game first came out, because we didn't really have a lot to deal with them, or at that time we were just bad at playing against them. And that was like the saving grace for me, because I was getting obliterated by stalkers almost every game. So people just started saying, yo, try the slugger out. And it worked great. But then after they nerfed it, I was like, why did this happen? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, I remember that actually.
So I think stagger should be a better part of the game in like a larger way, because it's just, I feel like, I don't know, because we've talked about this before, like the pummeler adds like a different play style where like you're adding
a different play
but like not negative damage, right? And then the concussive liberator doesn't change that at all, you know what I mean, because of its damage being like so poor. But that the play style difference isn't that like you're just completely throwing all your damage away. It's that like you enable other things, you enable other people. Some people like playing the support role, which I think we'll talk a little bit about later too. And I think that those weapons like give you that support role, and not having that in the game just limits play styles, which feels bad.
Yeah, I agree. Shot John with the dono says, yo, just thought about it, but I'm only worried about accidental FOMO. At least I hope it's accidental, where they super nerf a weapon soon after adding it. Look at a Ruptor or a Pummeler. If you don't grab a battle pass right away, it's gone. I definitely agree with that somewhat. I feel like a lot of balance changes can create FOMO. That's definitely true.
Yeah, Punisher is another great example. Not Punisher. Sorry, Purifier. Sorry.
Purifier. Yeah, they still need to buff
Yeah.
the purifier as well.
Just OP.
Thank you, by the way, Shot John.
Thank you, Shot.
All right, what other crazy mechanics are there? Clay, can you see your balance doc? You want to go over some more mechanics you feel? Overall tumble mechanics, true. When you ragdoll just diving on the ground and you just ragdoll out of nowhere. We could talk about gunships. I feel like gunships are a good thing to talk about. Gunships are an example of an enemy that needs nerfed because of how oppressive they are. They can also fly through walls, which is frustrating. The overall armor value limits playstyle options. So I agree with this. I don't think the amount of gunships are crazy, but it definitely adds a meta because there's like 4 guns that are really good against gunships. And then it doesn't seem like there's any guns that are kind of good. I guess Spear is kind of good against gunships.
But I mean, you will still come back to the fact that it's not just the gunships, it's just overall how the bots feel. Like the way they shoot, the way they damage, the way the headshot damage. I think headshot damage just affects everything, man. No matter what
yeah.
you're playing against, right?
Well, the
That's a
gunship's flying through
huge
the walls,
deal.
2 headshots you feels really bad. I think
Yeah.
that's probably the
Yeah.
most impressive
Yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it swings through this big mountain and blasts you with a rocket salvo, and you're
Yep.
like, oh.
Yeah.
Yep. That doesn't sound good, bro. No, not at all.
Well, one thing I would like to talk about with gunships, though, is because I wanted extra gunship spawns in the game, whether it was patrols or like 2 gunships show up with a bot drop. I think that's super cool change. I actually really like it. But I'll admit that if you're not aware of the bot meta, they can feel oppressive. And in general, even if you are aware of it, it does limit the guns that you can bring against bots because there's 4 good guns in the game against gunships that are support weapons. It's the HMG, the laser cannon, the anti-material rifle, and the autocannon. Any 4 of those guns, if you bring them, gunships really shouldn't be a problem. And then if you bring pretty much any other support weapon, it feels really bad. And then there's only 1 good primary that's like really, I mean, there's a couple primaries I could deal with them, but I think the Scorcher
It's the Scorcher.
Yeah, the Scorcher is the only good primary because it's accurate.
The Dominator feels bad against
Yeah,
them.
I think the Dominator feels horrible against them. The Eruptor feels horrible against them because of projectile speed, even though I think it can kill them in like 3
They
shots.
can't even hit them.
Yeah, it's impossible
and it's
to hit
clunky.
them. Yeah.
It's just
Like,
clunky.
it comes up short on them. A lot of time they space you far enough that the Eruptor's range isn't enough to actually even hit them. They know.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah, so I feel like gunships are in a spot where it's like, okay, where it definitely created a meta against bots. I mean, I think a meta already existed against bots, to be fair, but it definitely reinforced it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you could also choose not to play the gunship modifier, I guess, in some senses, but you would want to play the gunship modifier because it's the easier spawn set than
I feel like
right?
even if you're playing the gunship mod, or even if you're not playing the gunship modifier, those 4 weapons I named have always been the meta against bots.
I don't really
kill
think you're
Hulks
taking
from the
anything else.
front.
Maybe a railgun. But you wouldn't take a railgun against the gunships, right? But like maybe the railgun against the other spawn set. But like outside of that, like you really don't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And it
I
also
feel
changes dependent on team composition, right? But that's the problem. Not a lot of people have teams, and that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second too. That's on our list. Team play. Yeah, I feel like the easiest change to gunships would be lower the armor on the engine to light armor pen. It would still make it so the light armor penetrating weapons are actually still pretty bad against gunships, but it would make it so all the level 3 armor pens, so all the medium primary weapons would feel a lot better. I still think they would be mostly bad, but they would feel way better. And then this change also wouldn't impact those 4 guns I named. The autocannon, HMG, those would be the same because those already don't get a penalty against gunship engines. So I feel like the easiest change to gunships would be lowering the armor. It would buff all the it would make the medium machine gun better against gunships too, which I think is a big deal.
That'd
because
be
the medium machine
That would be
gun
good.
honestly doesn't feel bad against bots. It's not great against Hulks because you have to get behind them, but it can kill a gunship. I think it takes like a whole magazine on the medium machine gun though to kill a gunship.
Yeah, that's a lot of ammo though. A lot of it.
It's definitely a lot of ammo. All right.
Yeah.
We can get into Clay's tip of the day. So obviously I know Clay, but for those of you who don't, let's give you Hold
Are
on.
you tired of your hell?
Let's give you an introduction of who Clay is. He prepared a tip of the day for us, and I think a lot of people are going to find this funny.
Are you tired of your Helldivers 2 games
Go.
looking like this?
Oh God, that's me.
Do you want to have more satisfying moments?
Are you guys ready?
Ready to go. Ready, Captain.
Oh God.
Ready.
3, 2, 1, fire! All right, we got him.
Reloading.
Well, today's the day you become the John Helldiver Super Earth relies on to never have a skill issue ever again.
Let her rip. Just keep going. I'm gonna resupply you. Hell yeah.
Oh, oh,
Where?
Play, it's time. He's this weak. To your left. To your hard left. You.
Recoilless is so cool though when you keep loading it like that.
That's a little close.
Oh, this is the ultimate airburst.
I am inside the dropship, guys.
Keep her going.
Wait, it owns! This is so good! What the fuck? Nobody's gonna believe me!
I still don't believe you. It's still not good.
Yo!
Am I
Wait,
skill
was that
issuing?
the airburst?
Yeah, that was the airburst.
Yes, sir.
What, you
I
couldn't
was
tell
like-
when it ended with the team kill?
I didn't. My brain didn't process the information that I would see anything but the recoilless like that. There, I was like, no way, that's an airburst. You know what I mean?
You couldn't
Damn.
tell when it ended in the squad wipe? The team kill squad wipe?
Yeah, that's when I asked, but I'm watching the stream, so it was a little bit delayed, so I realized it late. Oh God, that was pretty good.
So one thing I think we could talk
Yeah.
about is the team play in this game. So I think actually Odo brought this up in one of his recent videos, that you're not exactly encouraged to do team play in this game, and that the only real team play kind of well, not mission, but the only actual thing that requires a teammate are the buddy bunkers. You literally can't open those with only one person. And I thought that was a really good point.
True.
But I also think that you are heavily rewarded for having at least one person that you team up with and you guys do strats with and you guys go hard with. Like that was the airburst launcher.
Absolutely.
Like he wiped every single bot drop that came in, team reloading, an airburst launcher. And let's talk about how crazy that setup went. Not only was he wearing the airburst, his teammate wore the backpack, but they had a third person on the squad with the supply pack filling up the backpack person. So that was a 3-person play.
Yeah.
It was hard to tell.
Yep.
But like, and they were just sitting at extract. They honestly, they could have left, but it's fun defending extract too.
It is. That's what we do a lot. We always try and like turn it into like a horde mode defense, and like we've been using the airburst a lot, and we found all these little like tricks and like these small little like windows where you can like slide it over a certain target and like slip it into the perfect spot, and like a lot of that ends in team wipes. But one thing that we've been doing like more and more is like the team loading. Like if you've been team loading the recoilless, I know you have, that it's really good, but like a lot of people don't know that like the spear team load is like almost instant. So you can pop like 5 spears off in like 3 seconds. It's so fast, right? So you can clear pretty much any armor on the screen.
I think the autocannon's the most fun team reload, just because you just fucking start blasting. The recoilless is probably the most powerful team reload in my opinion. Oh no, maybe
I
the
think
spear,
it's the
though.
coolest. No, I think the recoil is the coolest, just because when there's the bot drop ships coming in and you blow them all out of the sky, even though I think that all the bots should die when they fall out of the drop ships.
No, the recoilless is the coolest and the most powerful. The autocannon is the funnest, though. Yeah. You gotta admit. When you just start blasting an autocannon.
Oh, the autocannon's the most. I don't know. After the airburst, bro, I'm gonna tell you. My life has been changed.
All right,
forever.
his life has changed. Mine isn't. Still not using the airburst. I guess it's a skill issue, right?
Skill issue.
100%. Yeah.
Gotta get better with the airburst, brother.
Pips, you better start team reloading that airburst. But one thing.
But overall, when it comes to team play, though, I wanted to quickly add, off if that's okay, was when Odo says like all the team play stuff, right? Like he was discussing it. I understand to a certain extent what he means, right? But at the same time, yes, the mechanics don't require you, but team play will always make it more comfortable and faster.
Yes.
Like if
So
you're going for the missions,
So
like
I think
realistically.
he's right that there should be more missions that encourage you to team play. Like
Yeah.
he even brought up an
Mhm.
example of what if
Yeah.
there's like what if the other games have this too. I think Vermintide has this where you push the cart. Clay, you do you play Vermintide?
Um,
Never mind.
you
All
do.
right,
So
there's
you
this
all have to
mission.
like four people around it. Yeah. Well, the more people that are beside it, the faster it goes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So I think there's some missions
So
like, and he brought up a basic
yeah.
example where you like push a cart, and if one person's pushing it, it's super slow, so that way you could still do it solo. But if there's like 2 people pushing it, it would go
Yeah.
much faster. 3 people pushing it, much faster. 4 people pushing it, and it's done. And that's just a really basic example. Like they could add squad specific missions or duo specific missions where like this mission's not going to spawn on solo because it requires more people. So I think they definitely could make the game more push you towards team play. I think they could
Forcing
add.
team play.
I think they really need to add a daily mission that says team reload a gun 20 times because people need to try
Yep.
that. That's what we're getting at though. Playing
It's
in a
fun.
team, not only is it fun, the best way to play this game is playing with a buddy. But like that's why I mainly play in squads. And that's why when I play other games, they're boring to me because I actually Helldivers made me realize how much more fun it is to play PvE with friends. And I think you are heavily rewarded for playing with friends. And I also think the friendly fire in this game makes it really fun to play with friends because I punch my friends all the time.
The friendly fire makes it way better.
Yeah.
I think that that's the main thing that sold me on Helldivers was that like we came from Darktide coming into this and like you couldn't kill each like you could and every time you could with the barrels in that game like you would knock people off edges. It was always like fun to try and team kill each other, right? Because you couldn't. And now that you can team kill each other, it's fun to try not to. But then it's also fun to have a PvP match when like things you know when you can, right? And I think that because you were also talking about like forcing people to stick together. Like Darktide also had a coherency thing that forced you to stay together to like regen toughness or whatever. And this just popped into my head now. What if you were in coherency and you had higher stagger resistance, right? So like let's say you were like close enough to your teammates, you know, you would get staggered. I mean, I know it's like a temporary like band-aid for the ragdoll problem, but like imagine the
Like a
closer you were to
booster?
your teammates, the like more buffs you got. Yeah, almost like a booster, but just for being near your team. Because I think that's a real problem is like a lot of people drop in, even if they queue with people, they just run off alone. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people are playing solo the entire time they're playing, even if they're playing with their friends. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people end up solo diving
But-
even when they load into squads because they feel that the game doesn't really reward them for playing with teams. But I don't know. I think you always want to make friends, even if you're random queuing. Try to make friends because this game is much better with friends. Like I don't even enjoy playing solo.
But that's
No,
the
it's
thing,
not
though,
fun.
right? A lot of people's argument is always going to be like, not everybody has those friends, and a lot of people, let's be honest here, that did have friends, they just stopped playing.
Yeah, but
after
the community is
few
really
patches
cool. I
and-
feel like you can make friends after enough missions, random queuing. Like maybe it'll
Yeah,
take a
you
little
have
bit.
Try to
Right.
talk to people; they'll talk back eventually. There's like I was like doing mission testing to like see this specifically. I was doing this for a video. I was like dropping to see how many games it'd take for somebody to talk back to me, and I think it was about like 4 out of 10 games, which is pretty high for pretty much like any kind of like team game, right? Somebody would respond in chat or like somebody would talk because most as if you've random queued, you know, there's open mics all the time, right? So it's
Yeah.
like you will get people talking back to you. So if you want to go make friends, you can. But another thing too is like, you know, you're more than likely in a community. If you're probably like watching the stream, you could just like go to an LFG channel in any of our discords and like try and find people to play with. Like, you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
have options available to you. I think a lot of people just don't want to take those options because it like involves a level of effort that isn't just pressing quick play. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's fair. I feel like if you quick play into 5 missions and you try to make friends, you will make 1 friend in those 5 missions. And
As long
I
as you
think
try really, yeah, if you try enough.
if you're someone who your friends don't play this game, that's understandable. But like if you just try to make 1 friend each day or each 5 missions, like eventually you will have a friends list worth queuing with and worth playing with. And I honestly feel like the game, there's rewards for team play, but I do think the game doesn't necessarily encourage it. But I think you
What
are
do you think
definitely
about,
like
like-
an XP boost though. just an XP boost would be awesome.
for
Ooh,
adding
yeah.
friends or personal
for
orders.
like playing with friends. Just if you team up, you have a pre-made team, for example, or whatever, right? And then you go in. There should be some kind of like Diablo does this. A lot of games do this. Like it's not a crazy XP boost. Like 5% with 2 people. Destiny did this too. 10% with 3, and so on, right? And since it's 4, you can bump it up to 15 or whatever. Like these little things will be more interesting for people that want to level up, even though like level doesn't really mean anything after 25 or whatever, but it's still interesting, right? Like if you go in with the pre-made and you're leveling up faster than your friends and getting all this XP, it could be really cool.
I think the simplest thing they could do, I already said this, but add a personal order that says get 50 kills team reloading. That would be the simplest thing they could do. And that personal order needs to come back once every 2 weeks minimum, because like maybe people won't use it after the first personal order, but by the second or the third or the fourth, they will realize how good team reloading is.
I'll give you an example of why a lot of people, I agree with that, but a lot of people don't like. For example, in Destiny 2, right? They just had with the expansion, they added a mission that was a very important mission where you needed to complete that mission to get a specific item, but you literally had to go in duo. Dude, I'm telling you right now, the game had like crazy amounts of players, like over 400,000 whatever daily when the expansion dropped, right? And the Reddit went nuts of how many people were complaining about that, because they were like, either let me do this solo or quick play, because they needed like a pre-made team, you know? And I was surprised too, like, how can you not? But at the same time, it looks like there's a lot because it has like thousands and thousands of upvotes on people just wanting to take that out of the game and just giving them the ability to go in alone. You know what I mean? And I think there's probably people like that in Helldivers too.
Yeah, for sure.
Most likely, yeah.
Real quick, B Grows with the 5 says devs should always make the personal order relate to the MO. I get bug POs when we have a bot MO. I agree, because that would just make sense. But also, they can get people to use new stuff and different stuff. Like, remember when they fixed the dot damage, and then there was like a free gas strike that day, and everybody realized how good gas strike is once they fixed that bug?
Yeah.
And you see everyone running around with gas strike for a while.
Well, isn't there a good example now where like the auto cannons like for free? What if they had like 50 team kills with the auto cannon? Right.
Dude, I like how the devs.
Would that be good?
Wait. I like how the devs pushed the meta for these last 2 major orders. Like the flamethrower was free, the last bug MO. That's the best bug weapon by far.
Get into it.
And then the autocannon was free yesterday, and that's obviously the best bot weapon. But yeah, that was cool. They wanted us to win those MOs.
Yeah.
Edward with the 5 says team play, a good balanced approach would be a quality clan system. Oh yeah, that might be coming. With clan missions that have objectives. No leaks right now.
Okay.
That have the objectives that require multiple people. A good balanced approach would be a quality clan system with clan missions that have objectives that require multiple people. Yeah, for sure. And I touched on this earlier. Like maybe they could add some, I would say keep it to duos, some like duo specific missions. So like these missions are made for duos, trios, and squads. Requires 2 people to do a puzzle. You know, you both have to, like one person has to defend and one person's got to click the buttons. I don't know. You know, that's up to the devs to come up with. But like some stuff that only spawns like team missions. I also think when Hive Lords come to the game, those might require multiple people to kill. Or at least on solo, it won't be rewarding. I'm going to solo it too.
Yeah, I'm a solo it too.
No, of course. But I think
Ivan made a good point, brother, where like if you force team play, people get upset about it. But again, like it should be the strongest way to play the game. And I think that it is the strongest way to play the game right now. But like forcing it on people, or like I think 100%. Just giving the option and promoting it more will show people how good it is. And then like it won't just be like your force. It'll be like you want to because it's so good that you want to be part of that.
It's just better.
It's so cool.
Yeah. You get something out of it, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't feel like, oh, I have to find people now. You feel like, oh, wait, if I find someone, that's going to be cool. I'm going to get this, this, and this. And there's a difference there.
No, I definitely agree. I do feel like a lot of people, I don't know, it's a skill issue because a lot of people will complain about like certain things, but then they run off solo in 4-player missions. It's like, bro, if you can't solo a 4-player Helldive, why are you queuing 4-player Helldive and running off solo?
Why are you running off alone? Yeah, you shouldn't be.
Because I'll be honest with you, I only play in squads, and the game's pretty easy in squads on Helldive, but we always have each other. Most of the time, we have each other's back. Sometimes I get team killed by cluster bombs, but it is what it is.
But it's also because how cool it is to distribute the aggro when you're in a team, right? Like if you divide, aggro will go to one team, and let's say the other team's just rolling. They don't care. They're like chilling, completing missions. The other two are like going nuts. And then the aggro switches, and you complete the missions just so much easier when you're in a team. Like it's easy, really easy.
I think that an
For sure.
interesting thing to bring up about what you just said, Mr. Pips, like specifically like splitting aggro. Would we go for kill
Yeah.
record? Like we just hit a 4,900 kill game the other night, and like
crazy.
one person's in the bug hole, and then 3 people are up top. But
Wait,
like,
what do you mean in the bug hole?
like in the level 3 hole, like you like sorry, not inside the hole, but like like the level 3 POI where it's just like 12 bug holes or whatever.
Yeah.
One person stands
Oh,
in
yeah,
it
yeah,
and
yeah.
they're just spam killing all those, and the other
Yep,
3
yep.
people are just taking all the patrols. But there's a
Yep.
lot of times where the patrols will aggro and switch to the person in the big hole, so then they get swarmed and everybody has to shoot down on it. It's like a super interesting moment where like that person is under like extreme stress, and your 3
Yep.
teammates basically are forced to save them, or they just death spiral, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's one thing to bring up too that a lot of
Yeah,
people
I just
don't
saw that, Vug.
really understand.
Oh, go ahead.
Death spiraling specifically makes the game harder,
Yeah.
right? So as you die more and more, the game gets more difficult.
'Cause you gotta
So
go
if
pick
you
up your
don't die at
stuff.
all, the game's super easy. But if you die 19 times, there's more enemies, right? So
Oh, I didn't know that
But-
actually.
Wait,
Yeah,
it
there's a
adds
bunch
more
of
enemies when you die.
yeah, so Lux has a couple of videos that were posted in like March. It's the same thing. Like imagine you remove all the POIs from the map. If you don't know how to dead zone the enemies, then more enemies spawn, like more patrols, because you be created like a higher threat level in that area, right? So
Yeah.
more enemies are coming in, the more POIs you break. But as you die more patrols start spawning as well. So like as you death spiral, the game gets way more difficult, right? So like it forces you to want to work together to not die. But again,
Yeah.
there's frustrating mechanics that just one shot you, right? So it just makes it so don't die. Yeah, don't die 19 times. But yeah, it just forces you to want to work together,
For sure.
you know, so that way you don't die. Yeah,
Um,
it's a weird dynamic that we only figured out. Like he posted the videos about it, and it was interesting to watch. But I was like, do I believe that? And then after trying to farm for kill record, the only way you can really ramp the kills up is, well, by dying more and more to get more enemies to spawn.
That's fair. So now you know how to do your kill record.
Yeah.
All right, you said you're doing kill record later. I'll hop on.
We're gonna go for 5,000 terminates today, and then hopefully Thick gets in there for 2,000 bots, and then maybe we slide Mr. Pips in, new
I'll be
friend.
sleeping by then.
If you need 10,000, if you need 10,000 kills on the bugs, you send me in solo, Clay. You send me in solo.
Teach me the ways, brother. I need you.
All right, bet.
I actually have an
Pips,
interesting
if you're
question
still
for both
awake,
of you
you should
really
hop
quick.
in. Go ahead.
I do. Just before we continue on, like, what do you guys think about like team stratagems? Because like the old Gatling barrage, you'd throw 2 of them, and it would
Yeah.
be like the one currently now. What do you guys think of like if 4 people threw a laser cannon at the same time, like the orbital laser cannon? What if it combined into like a super laser? What do you
That
guys
would
think
be
about like
crazy.
team stratagems like that?
No, that would be
That would
crazy.
be amazing. I like that. And can we please lower the laser cooldown from 5 minutes? Like, what's up with that, bro? 5
Can I just
minutes.
say real
True.
quick? No, never mind. I'm not going to get into this. All right. One
Say
thing someone mentioned in the chat, which I actually did want to touch on, was he says, Valgata says, I know team reload is good, but it's not fun for me standing attached to other player who does all the shooting. Effective, yes. Fun, no. I agree. I think if you're the dude reloading the
Treason.
backpack, it's not that fun. You're just sitting there. Now, we actually talked about this because I was in Clay's stream when he was doing the balance doc, and Clay brought up that now that he's team reloaded a lot more, it's way too powerful to just make it so anybody could reload from your backpack. And I actually had that same take when I was doing my balance doc like a month before. And I was like, no, Clay, I actually agree with you because I've been team reloading a lot more too. And it's insanely powerful. If you could just hop on someone's backpack and reload for them, it would low key be kind of broken. But we came up with some other cool ways they could make it more fun to do because it is really boring and it's hard to do in randoms. Let's be real. So I think one thing they could change, and we're open to anything like this in the chat. If you guys have any ideas, go ahead and throw it out. One change they could do is make it so that the dude with the backpack, when he's team reloading, he could shoot his secondary or throw grenades. That's such a simple quality of life change that now you're just not sitting there like letting your buddy shoot. Like if you could throw out a stun grenade as the team reloader, that's going to help keep the small dudes away from you. And like now you feel like you're actively doing something.
Oh, so he's kind of reloading with one hand.
I mean, yeah.
Well, no, he'd have to use 2 to reload. I mean, maybe, I guess, but like, you know, how many
However they
times
do it.
Well, after
However
using
they
air
do it.
burst, yeah, like you need the guy to just be, you know,
You need
the
strong
random
arms,
little
that's all it
flying
is.
bug. He zooms in and pops the air burst and insta kills your whole team. You could be the hero as the reloader. But I think that one thing to specifically say to that, some people like playing support. And I think that if you're
For
loading,
sure.
like I know Lewis specifically, he loves playing support. Durkheiser is the same thing, like 2 people that I play with, 2 of my friends, and they just enjoy support. And like that's more of a support role to be loading backpack, right?
Yeah.
And some people just like that playstyle, like they enjoy it, and like it's just, you know, it's just support meta. That's basically it.
Yeah.
And it's really
Yep,
fun.
yep.
I get that and I agree. And I'm cool with that. But I think if we're talking about ways they could get more people into team activities, how can they improve the team play in this game? Because you are absolutely rewarded for playing as a team in all of
It has to be missions. It has to be missions.
in
Like,
all of
the
our
missions
opinions.
Yeah, it has to be missions in my opinion. Like you can't really force a mechanic to be done in terms of like reloading whatever, because some people just, as you know, won't enjoy it. But if the missions are fun, but it's still doable without a pre-made, let's say, but it's just faster and it involves like whatever puzzles or whatever, I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. Another thing with team reloading, if you guys want to team reload more in the current state of the game, because you guys don't believe us and you're like, I'm going to go try this out, and you queue random squads, the easiest way to team reload right now is if you see someone take a backpack weapon, take the same backpack weapon. Don't ask them to drop their backpack to you. Just take the same weapon and you already got the backpack. So that is the easiest way to team reload right now. There's your second tip of the day.
Experimental packing technology has been bugged too for a bit, right? So like I think that's one reason that people are kind of maybe avoiding it this patch. Because like you're not getting like full rockets or ammo
People
back,
have been
right?
always people have always been
Yeah,
ignoring
I
team
know what you
reload.
mean, but yeah, but it's like once that's fixed too, it'll give you like even more, because once you get full ammo back, like you could just pop tons of rockets or
Yeah,
like
it goes crazy.
auto cannon shots off, and it's insane. Like it's super fun. So it's like you're right, that is the best possible way to do it. And then like if you're talking about in a pre-made, then you know, then you switch backpacks. But if you're just playing with random people, you're right. If you just take the same thing as
Just take
somebody
the
else,
same thing.
then you just get all the fun. Yeah.
Easiest way to do it. Hop on their backpack. When your backpack's out of ammo, there's a high likelihood they hop on your backpack after that, and all of a sudden you made a friend in the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty. So I feel like we covered the skill issues and what's actually wrong with the game as well. If you guys want more tips and tricks on how to play the game, follow our guest, Claysthetics. He was on stream the other day, just literally going over basic movement stuff like meleeing enemies and avoiding hunters. Very knowledgeable on the game, and you guys already know Pips is extra knowledgeable on the game. And I think Pips, you're gonna
Very
stream
true,
right
very
now, aren't you?
Yeah, in a little bit. Yeah, in a little bit.
All right.
There, do we have anything? I want to mention one thing before
Go ahead.
we move on, if that's okay. Because
ahead.
Belay, it's been a huge dub, right? With the last patch, we got the -1
yeah.
stratagem out of the way, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody's happy about that. Can we put scatter on the
Yeah,
list
Scatter's next.
It's
Hey,
on the
Scatter's
list.
next.
I put that on my list, bro. I
Listen,
absolutely
listen.
Scatter's gotta
Thank you.
go.
Listen.
I agree with that 100%.
Get it out.
All
Get
of
it
the
out.
modifiers need to go. All of them. There's not a single modifier that started in the
Okay.
base game
Whoa,
that
whoa,
should
whoa.
be in the game.
That escalated really fast.
No, it
Just
didn't.
remove the whole
No,
game, so wait
it's
a
been a
minute.
long time coming.
I agree, but I was just kind of trying to butter it up. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
started with
yeah.
the scatter. Yeah, everybody like F scatter in chat. Yeah, like it's horrible, bro.
Like
I
listen,
bring in
another
my
thing.
new buffed stratagems. Nothing.
Yeah. Another thing, real quick too, is with people talking about gunship patrols. Like they wouldn't be that big of a deal if there's a million enemy modifiers. Like, what if you get the Scout Strider mission?
Yes.
Sure, it'll be annoying because
They
they're
can still
annoying.
pick, right? You could just choose.
Yeah, Scout Striders are annoying. Don't get me wrong, but they're not that hard
No, they're pretty easy to deal with compared to like Devastator spam.
compared to
Right.
gunships too.
But in general, modifiers, like as you said, if they just switch them up, you know what I mean, guys?
Switch them
Like,
up.
don't
Add-
just punish
yeah.
the players with the fun tools. Like orbitals are the most fun tool, right? And the stratagems in general, like whatever, eagles, whatever. And that's the fun tools you summon in. And then why does it have to affect the fun tools? Let it affect something else. Make it harder. Do whatever you want. But like, don't take the fun out of my hands, you know?
Yeah. Wait, Labyrinth just brought up a good point because I think it's time. You ready, Clay?
Oh, right, let's go.
Are you in Discord, Clay? Hello?
Oh, did he lag out?
Is he lagging?
Oh, he's faking lag because he doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to play. Clay, are you back?
Yes, guess the stratagem.
What's up? Hello?
Clay,
Oh,
hello,
oh,
hello.
he's back.
We good? Yeah. What are we doing?
It's time.
We're not
What's
doing
up, brother?
anything.
Sorry.
Clay.
Hey,
You're doing
Canada's
it.
having problems right now. I'm sorry.
We're not doing
you're
anything.
doing it, Clay.
It's time
Not
for
us.
you, Clay.
Good luck.
It's time for who's
What am I
that
doing?
stratagem.
No pressure.
Go in
I
Discord.
guessed every single one. Go.
Are you
Go
watching
with
my
Discord.
stream?
Wait.
Watching my Discord
yes.
stream? You're watching?
It's loading.
I think he's IRL lagging. I think he's IRL lagging. Not gonna lie.
Whoa.
You ready?
True.
All right.
No.
Who's that stratagem? The game show where we test your knowledge, and if you get anything wrong, the whole chat is gonna spam skill issue because that is the topic of today's episode. So I'm either gonna give you a code, and you have to guess what stratagem it is, or I'm gonna give you a stratagem icon, and you have to guess the code. Now, I saw you post all the stratagem codes earlier. Take those down. Get those out of here. You ready? Ready, Clay? You ready? He looks ready.
Ready as I'll ever be, I guess.
Who's that stratagem? You should know this one.
I don't know. Recoilless?
Hey! Recoilless, final answer?
Recoilless rifle?
It is. How do you know?
Yo!
Oh, fuck yeah, I got it, dude. I kind of guessed.
man.
I thought it was eats for a second.
All right, what's this one?
Oh, shit.
You should know this one,
That's
too.
a spear. That's a spear. That's a spear all day. That's a spear all day. I know that one like the back of my hand, baby.
Final
I've
answer?
called that in 1,000 times.
Final answer? It's the spear.
Spear.
He's 2 for 2. He's 2 for 2.
And
All right.
he's lagging, but he's still doing it.
You might forget this one, but I think you know it.
120?
Final answer?
I'm lagging. 120? I don't know. Sure, 120. I don't know. Maybe.
Ooh,
Orbital walking or
it
120?
was a barrage. He said orbital walking or 120. That's like a 2.5. Stratagem. All right, you should know. This one's easy. You got to guess the code.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Final answer?
Maybe. No. Well, right up. Right up.
It was right.
No, I was right the first time. You fucking. It was. I was fucked.
All right, you know about this one?
SOS. I've never called that in unless it was by accident.
You should know it then.
It's close to Eagle. I don't know. Fuck, it's close to Eagle Napalm.
Up, down, right,
Right
up.
up, but down, jump. Oh, so close.
That's not a fair one. That's not a fair one.
All right, how
That's
about the
not fair.
hell bomb? You know
That's
the hell bomb?
overpowered.
Good luck.
You got to guess this one.
Good luck with like 47 different buttons, Clay. Go.
Down, right, left, up, down, left, right.
What the hell?
It's, yeah. All right.
I was close.
I think we lagging.
Close as I'll ever be.
That wasn't bad.
All right, he got what? 2.5 out of 5? 2.5 out of 5?
Yeah,
I got all of them right.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not
Nah,
bad.
From what I saw, he got every single one. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Pips. Locked in.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Because trust me. I got every single one too. So
Yeah, hey, true. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yep.
When it was my turn, I literally didn't guess one.
What?
He
I
guessed.
didn't
Not
he
even
guess
the
a
guessed.
spear?
single one.
He
I
guessed.
didn't guess anything.
No, you guessed all of them, is what you're saying.
No, he
none of
guessed.
them.
He guessed
I
resupply
appreciate
was
you
like.
backing me up, Clay, but
He guessed resupply was like up,
Painful.
down, right, jump. Bro, imagine if you had to jump
It's
to
what it
call
is.
in a
It's what it is.
stratagem.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Imagine if you had to jump to call in a stratagem. That would be crazy.
I would love that.
All right. I think we're lagging.
Wait,
I think
can
we
you
talked
jump?
about everything we need to, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Thank
having
you, chat.
outages
Thank
here
you.
now
Was a
too.
good stream.
Pips, you going live?
Yeah, I'm gonna go live in like 5 minutes, so I'm gonna go bounce to the stream now. But thank you. Today was a great stream. Play. Nice to meet you.
Definitely.
It was nice meeting you too,
Appreciate you
Mr.
guys.
Pips. Have a beautiful night,
Same
brother.
here,
Have a
brother.
good stream.
You too. You too. Talk soon. Talk soon.
All right, boys. I'm gonna send you over to Pip's stream. But he's not live yet. He'll go live right now. Everybody have a good day. Dude, my